Apologies for the dodgy crop. I've cut my head off for the majority of this video when I was filming, but I thought what I said was pretty good, so I decided to roll with it. Apologies for that. Let's roll into today's video.
Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. I'm in my bedroom for the first time. I haven't made a video in this room. This is, for those of you that give a flying donkey, it's where I sleep, okay? I normally film videos in other areas of the villa because it's better lighting normally, but I've decided to film a bit earlier today, and it's a Monday, so it means that we're going to start the week with reflecting on the last week in Chelsea media, in the last week of Chelsea speculation. Things have happened, the players have gone back to training, which is absolutely fantastic. Before we get into any of that though, I want to ask you to subscribe to the George Benson football channel if you haven't already, because we're getting close to 100k, and I would love to hit it before the season begins again, which is looking likely because we've not heard any updates as to delays, the middle of June, which is less than a month away now, and we will be able to see our Chelsea back on our screens again in a closed stadium, which is a little bit frustrating, but the world we live in right now, it's what we're going to have to accept, and it's actually a really big thing to look forward to, despite all the questions that are still being asked about whether it's the right thing to do. Speaking of players turning back to training, look at these pictures of Olivier Giroud. He's signed a new deal, which is absolutely brilliant. I think he's been brilliant this season for Chelsea. Do I want to use the word brilliant anymore? Yes, I do. Giroud's been brilliant. When Tammy Abraham was injured, Olivier came in and he delivered for us. He scored that goal against Spurs. Scored another goal in the Premier League as well, which is something we haven't really seen him do in a Chelsea shirt. He was Mr. Europa League. Olivier Giroud is the perfect professional to have at Chelsea Football Club. He signed an extension and he rocks up to training looking like this. I mean, what can't you love about this geezer? He's an absolute hero. Willy Caballero has also signed a contract extension to remain at Chelsea. It was looking as though he might be leaving because Chelsea were given time to be able to extend the contracts of the players whose contracts are running out come the end of June. We are yet to see the extension be triggered for Willian. We are yet to see it be triggered for Pedro either. And that links directly into a story that we're going to talk about, which has only come out in the past 24 hours, that supposedly Chelsea will not be activating the buyback clause for Jeremy Boga. A lot of people still think that Boga was actually on loan at Sassuolo, which wasn't the case. We sold him with a buyback clause of 15 million euros. I've discussed it here on the channel. I said that it would be a very low risk signing for Chelsea to go back in and spend 15 million euros on a player that's playing in a very competitive league and has actually done bits for Sassuolo this season, but Chelsea supposedly are not going to be going back for Boga. Now, what does this mean? Well, first thing, it means that we do miss out on a potential bargain, but the bigger picture of this is that Chelsea wouldn't have come out and said that they're not going to be activating the buyback clause, or I'm not 100% sure that it was confirmed, but if it is the case, then surely that means that Chelsea have got their eyes set on another winger. Now, if they're not going to go for Boga, I can't imagine they're going to go for anyone less in terms of quality. So the conversation comes back about your Jadon Sanchos. It comes back about Coutinho potentially on loan from Barcelona. We've also got the potential, supposedly, apparently, of Ousmane Dembele, who Barcelona have made available for a ridiculously cutthroat price due to his injuries and him not fulfilling what Barcelona would have expected of him when they spent over 130 odd million on Dembele a couple of seasons ago. Now, if we go back to the whole thing with Jeremy Boga, I can understand why Chelsea won't be activating his buyback clause. A lot of it, again, is simply speculative. But in terms of what Jeremy Boga's done, he didn't really get given the opportunity at Chelsea. The man's getting a little bit older. He's still young, but he is getting older. And he's finally got his breakthrough. He's finally performing, and Chelsea probably wouldn't want to bring him back and just see him sit on the bench again. There are financial reasons as to why it could be a good idea. Chelsea could bring him back to the club and then use him as like a bait for another bigger deal. But that isn't really the most best thing to do from a human level in terms of Chelsea bringing him back just to sell him again. It's kind of just teasing the geezer. You know, he wanted to play at Chelsea. It looks like we're buying him back, and actually, he's just a pawn for a bigger signing. So I think that Chelsea saying that they're not going to activate the clause is most likely due to the fact that Boga wouldn't get the minutes at Chelsea because they'd still be looking to invest in other wingers. And the question still needs to be asked, is he better than a Pulisic? Is he better than a Hudson-Odoi? Is Jeremy Boga better than Hakim Ziyech, who we've already bought in? That's a question I'll leave up to you in the comments, but Chelsea won't be going for him, which does mean that the questions rise again regarding the big names. Philippe Coutinho. It looks likely that Arsenal are going to be going in for Coutinho now. Supposedly they're holding talks with him yesterday. Don't know how true that is, but Coutinho to Arsenal would be a big coup for Arsenal, considering Pepe came in, hasn't really hit the 72 million heights expected of him. Coutinho's got that Premier League experience. I've made a video about why I think he'd be a good signing for Chelsea before, and if he is available on loan, it's very low risk, which during this financial climate in the footballing world, low risk is exactly what football clubs are going to be going for. We also know that Chelsea are pretty good with a bargain. Ousmane Dembele, if he's available for less than 40 million, this could be another very good option. Of course, the injuries are a serious thing. Since he got to Barcelona, yeah, we saw him tear up Chelsea at the Nou Camp. He had a brilliant game in Barcelona when they beat us 3-0 and knocked us out of the Champions League. But Dembele's injuries are a serious worry. Will Chelsea be looking at this kind of player? I think there would be interest for the kind of price that we're talking about, a player still so young, with so much potential still available to him. Maybe Dembele coming to Chelsea, we would be able to work on that injury side of things within the club, but it is a risk. And I look at the potential again, and I always come back to this geezer, Jadon Sancho. He's the one that I want. He's the one that everybody wants. But the question at the moment, as Chelsea get linked with Kai Havertz more and more, Chelsea probably won't be able to afford to buy, despite our financial situation, which, by the way, take a look at these statistics on the screen. Chelsea are in a very good position compared to all of the other Premier League clubs right now. So in terms of seeing big money Premier League signings, Roman Abramovich is probably going to be looking at this transfer window as a huge opportunity to bridge that gap between Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester City. Now, the question that I want to ask now, and I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments, since the Bundesliga has returned, the best player in the league right now is Bayer Leverkusen's number 10, Kai Havertz. Scored 2 in the first game, scored 2 in the second game, and if we look at what he's done in the recent games that he has played before the coronavirus and obviously after the Bundesliga has returned, Kai Havertz is one of the informed players in world football right now. We always say European football, but he's one of the most informed in the whole world, Kai Havertz, and he's come back. He's been linked with moves to Liverpool, he's been linked with Barcelona, Bayern Munich. Chelsea are also in that conversation. I mentioned in my transfer tier list video, I think that Havertz would be a huge improvement on what we've currently got in the first 11. But the problem is we do have so many players that can play in that position. If we do bring in Kai Havertz, it would probably to play as a centre forward or as a number 10, which would see the potential of Christian Pulisic adopting that number 10 role as a less likely option, with Pulisic probably being out on the wing, which I don't think that is the utility of his best position. I think we see the best of Christian Pulisic when he is able to play in that number 10 role. That's my opinion personally. But Havertz is the kind of player who, even though he's still very young, he's already delivering game on game, and he looks as though he's the complete package. Now, the question that I started asking a minute ago, and then I kind of got deviated as we started to talk more about Havertz or Jadon Sancho? It's something that both players would cost a lot of money. Sancho supposedly around 100 million if Dortmund are willing to lower their price in the current footballing market. Kai Havertz would probably be around 80 to 90, maybe even 100 million as well, if he carries on this form that is seeing him tear up the Bundesliga right now upon its return. So both players would break Chelsea's transfer record. Would we be able to go for both of them, considering there is still that issue of replacing defenders that we're going to be looking at? It's highly unlikely, but Havertz can play as a centre forward, which could be a huge thing moving forward for Chelsea in terms of options and versatility. Sancho's also very versatile as well. Can play on either one of the wings. We know he's English. We know he's been a Chelsea fan when he's growing up. The question is, which one would you guys prefer? Let me know in the comments down below. The next story we're going to discuss is N'Golo Kante being granted compassionate leave. He doesn't want to be training right now. He's fearful for his health. He's fearful for his safety and that of his family as well. I've seen a minority of people come out and say that this is a reason that he doesn't want to play for Chelsea anymore. His head's not at Chelsea, his heart's not at Chelsea. I'm listening to these people, and I am just wondering if it's just like the negative energy that's going around the world right now, and it's just like taking these people, sucking them in, and they're like, yeah, Kante, no. I'm not going to entertain that. N'Golo Kante, the same as any other footballer, Troy Deeney has said he's not going to be training. Any footballer right now has the right that we should all support this. If a footballer doesn't want to be training and doesn't want to be playing right now due to fears of the coronavirus, we can only support these decisions. The football project restart thing is something that's raised a lot of questions. People are still saying that people are still dying, people are still contracting the virus. So is football really a priority that should be coming back? I've already addressed this countless times. I know that the morale of the country and the world would boost if the Premier League is to come back. But if players don't feel comfortable with coming back and doing the training with contact, coming back and playing the matches where, you know, football needs to go on the way it's always gone on, this contact. It's a contact sport. If these players aren't happy to do so, we can only support their decisions. So anybody out there saying that Kante's not playing and he's not training because he don't care about Chelsea anymore, please relax these thoughts. I don't think for a single second that's any part of the reason why. We've got to respect his decision. He's been granted compassionate leave. What this means for Chelsea is that because he's not training right now, he is going to be behind the curve in terms of the players getting back towards match fitness so that when the Premier League does return, they're fit and ready to go. So N'Golo Kante probably won't be featuring for Chelsea between now and the start of next season. I don't think if he's going to train for a few weeks that he'll be ready come the time that the games start flooding in again. He's not going to be ready to play. That being said, the bloke's got hair now, which took me a little while to comprehend and to get used to, but N'Golo Kante's got hair. And on that note, I'm going to wrap up this little Monday video, taking a little look at some of the stories from last week and over the weekend. Thank you for the support on last week's videos. I know I only posted 2, but they're 2 of the best performing videos in recent times on the channel. So I'm glad you guys are getting excited again. I'm back making regular content. Thank you guys for watching today. Subscribe if you're new around here. Hit the like button if you want to see me do a tier list video tomorrow where I rate Chelsea player performances across this season, and then maybe I can do another one with loan moves as well. So let me know if you want to see that by hitting the like button, and let me know your thoughts. Havertz or Sancho, Coutinho, Dembele, who would you prefer to see at the club? Jeremy Boga looks like he's not coming back. Olivier Giroud has signed a new deal. Good news. See you all later. Bye-bye.